After at first only canceling talent meet and greets, New Japan Pro Wrestling made the decision this week to cancel many of its upcoming events due to the coronavirus outbreak. The company released a statement on Wednesday saying, in light of recommendations made by the Japanese Ministry of Health connected to the new coronavirus, New Japan Pro Wrestling has decided to cancel all live events scheduled between Sunday, March 1st, that's today, and Sunday, March 15th. All ticket holders will be refunded. New Japan has reached this difficult decision after careful consideration. Ultimately, the health and safety of our fans, staff, and wrestlers is our highest concern. And they list all of the affected events. It includes their anniversary tour. They had dates scheduled for today and tomorrow. Those are canceled. Their 48th anniversary show was scheduled for this Tuesday in Tokyo. That's canceled. And a lot of the New Japan Cup tournament dates have been canceled. All of the dates between Wednesday, March 4th, which would have been the kickoff of the Cup in Tokyo at Korakuen Hall, all the way through Saturday, March 14th in Chiba. All of those dates, and it's a total of about, I think, 7 or 8, have been wiped out. They have been canceled. And who knows how many more events may still be canceled after that. You know, right now it's through March 15th. If they don't get a handle on this, or in Japan, if it gets worse, it could go on even longer. They could extend it out maybe for the rest of the month. Now, the next big event after the New Japan Cup is their Sakura Genesis show, which is slated for the very end of this month, March 31st. And again, that could end up being canceled too. But if it isn't, because they still need to do the match with Naito and Hiromu, that was going to be taking place, I believe, on the show this Tuesday. They still got to get that match in. They can maybe have that match on the Genesis show, but then what do you do with the tournament? What do you do with the New Japan Cup? Because you've got half the dates gone. Right now, the tournament dates on March 16, 17, 18, 20, and 21 are unaffected for now. And so I would have to think that if they want to get it in, they can cram everything into those remaining dates. Although one listener wrote in suggesting that they move all of the New Japan Cup dates to the company's tour in April, which builds to their Wrestling Dontaku shows on May 3rd and 4th, and then the winner, whether it's Sonata, I had picked Sonata to win the New Japan Cup, whether it's Sonata or whoever, the winner would then challenge for the IWGP title at Dominion on June 14th. Sounds on the surface to me like that could work. I mean, it's too bad because I know New Japan usually has their stuff booked out a long time in advance. I mean, sometimes even a year or more in advance, Gedo does. But this is going to disrupt a lot of their plans. I mean, look, what are you going to do? Safety first. Got people walking around in masks. There were a lot of cases in Japan. They're still diagnosing new cases in Japan. Japan's a lot closer to China than we are. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to run all empty arena shows like Stardom is doing with one of its shows next month? Stardom is running an empty arena show, I believe, later this week. Or next weekend, maybe. I think it's March 8th. But I think the date here in the States is March 7th, 9:30 p.m. They're going to be airing the show free on their YouTube channel. If you want to see what an empty arena show for Stardom looks like, it will be broadcasting live and free on their YouTube channel. One show is fine, but you can't do that for every show. You can't run empty arena shows night after night after night. It's just not practical. You know, but it's scary stuff. I mean, look, on Friday, I've been following this whole thing. On Friday, the government in Hokkaido, the second largest Japanese island, there was an AP story. They declared a state of emergency and told everybody to stay indoors. 5 million people on that island. They told everybody to stay indoors. Don't go outside. You know, United Airlines just canceled all flights to Japan until the end of April. So this is a big deal. Is it being overplayed in some circles? Of course. Of course, people play it up like it's the plague. It's going to wipe everybody out. I don't think it's that bad. But you also can't just sit back and say, oh, it's much ado about nothing. No, it's having a big effect. When you start, when flights are being canceled in or out of a particular country for 2 months, I'd say that's a big deal. And that's going to affect a lot of people. And the question is, how, if at all, does this end up affecting WrestleMania? WrestleMania now, they have fans every year coming in from all over the world. Countries from Asia and every continent. You know, now I don't think WrestleMania is going to be canceled or anything like that, but it could have an impact and it could create headaches for promotions and leagues far beyond Japan. Stephanie McMahon, she gave an interview to the Tampa Bay Times. She was asked about the coronavirus, and she said they don't want to put anybody at risk. And they said discussions internally are taking place right now as we speak about what to do if things get worse. They have to prepare for this. It would be malpractice for them not to. You know, they're about to put this big show on that's going to make millions upon millions of dollars, and tens of thousands of fans are going to be coming in from all over the world. How do you not have a plan? How do you operate without having a backup plan in case things do get worse? So don't think that this can't impact WrestleMania or any of the surrounding events that are going on WrestleMania week. But there is a potentially even bigger issue brewing in Japan. The Olympics are coming to Japan this summer, which is why the G1 was pushed back to the fall for the first time. The G1 is not taking place until around September, October this year. I think October is when it might be kicking off around then. That would be a disaster for Japan if all of those Olympic events had to be canceled. Although maybe that wouldn't be the worst thing for the people who are going to be in Fukushima for the torch relay to kick off the games after that report that I saw on Real Sports with Brian Gumbel a few weeks ago on HBO. Yeah, they want people, the government there wants people to think that the area has been decontaminated when it really hasn't. It has not been fully decontaminated. That report was scary. If you haven't seen it, and if you have HBO Go or some other means to watch it, aired a few weeks ago. Go back and find that report. I mean, it's pretty terrifying, frankly. But if you want to learn more about what's going on over there in Fukushima, where they had that big nuclear meltdown all those years ago, things aren't exactly as they seem, or as the government there necessarily wants you to believe. But there's a very real possibility that the games could get canceled. This is according to Dick Pound, the longest serving member of the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. Yes, that is his real name, Dick Pound. And here I thought Ricky Steamboat's real name was an unfortunate one. I'm not sure which is worse. Would you want to be called Dick Blood or Dick Pound? I would probably take Dick Pound. At least the ladies might like that. Dick Blood just sounds like a bad time for everybody. You should probably see a doctor. He says they probably have a 2 or 3 month window to see if they can get things under control. If not, they're more than likely going to cancel it altogether, then move it or postpone it if they do take action. If they had to take action, it's more likely to be a cancellation and not a case where, we'll just move it to another city. They would just cancel it outright. So says the mighty Dick Pound. From a lot of the reading that I've done on this, not that I'm Dr. Solomonster, but there's a chance that we may all end up with coronavirus at some point. But it's not fatal for most people. It's mostly been fatal for a lot of older folks. They're the ones who have really suffered the more devastating effects. For others, it could end up being a really bad flu that you get. It likely wouldn't kill the majority of people who come down with it. And there are those who feel it could end up being the new seasonal virus to worry about every year. But the fact is, there are people dying from this. So you see the news reports, people are dying. You got to keep everything in perspective, though. When you hear about people dying and stuff, yes, it's scary. But look at the number of cases and look at the number of people who are actually dying from this. And, again, it's scary, but it's not a case where, oh my God, if I get coronavirus, I'm going to write my will and testament. It's not a situation like that, but at the same time, I certainly wouldn't want to be exposed to it, would you? Especially if you're somebody that has, young children. I mean, the last thing you want to do is be exposed to something like that. So if you're a wrestler or any kind of performer and you're doing a lot of traveling, if you're the promoter, you have an obligation. You have to take whatever steps are necessary to protect your talent and protect your business. So New Japan is doing what they feel they have to do.